Right, James, Liam, we got absolute maximum 5 minutes. So I'll allow you guys to ask if you have one or you want to any question about Liverpool and how the season's gone for me and Matthew to answer, because we haven't really talked about it yet.
Well, I suppose mine's a two-parter. One, got to ask where did it all go wrong? Where did it all go wrong?
It was our injuries.
Injuries.
And I mean, I've not really watched Liverpool much recently. The two new signings, Ben Davies and the boy from Schalke, how have they been?
Well, Matthew?
So I think, so starting on Davies, me and Josh always speak about this, really shocked to the way that Klopp spoke about him in his press conferences. It was very much so like he's really off the pace.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing that...
Sorry to cut you off, Matthew, but it's a massive jump from pressing the Championship to the Premier League. Huge step.
And it's amazing that Kabak is only, what is he, 20?
Yeah.
20 years old? Mate, he's 20 years old. He's young for a centre-half, isn't it? But just first, the difference in quality and training, I was saying to Josh, I was like, when you're Klopp and you see a 20-year-old Kabak and Davies like 23, 24, something like that, it just, and the fact that he's just totally gone with Kabak instead, to me, it's quite mental. That it'd be really interesting to see what that gap is actually like. But the Davies one's an interesting one because I'm not too sure. He's not played yet, so I've got no idea. But by the sounds of it from the press conferences, Klopp was saying that he did sound quite off the pace and he just needs time to settle in, which Klopp normally does with players anyway. I'm sure he would have done the same with Kabak, but it's a situation where you know what it's like at centre-back. We need to chuck someone in. But the games I've watched, he's definitely grown into himself. He's definitely gained a little bit of confidence. His pace does concern me a little bit. Like, when I watch him, he does look really slow and like he can't run properly. But apart from that, I think he's really growing. I think it helps when you have another centre-back that you actually start to play with consistently.
Nat Phillips, legend.
What's that?
Nat Phillips is a legend.
Yeah. So just, I think this Kabak now is starting to grow in confidence, and if the team starts growing in confidence, he will as well, which I think is a really good thing for him as well. He's been chucked in the deep end. Let's be honest, like 20 years old, chucked into a Liverpool team where the expectations are so high. You're literally getting compared to Virgil van Dijk, and the fucking ship is sinking, and you're just basically chucked in at centre back, and you're like, all right, go and play in the Premier League at 20 years old. Like, it's pretty mental, but I think overall he's starting to grow in confidence.
To answer your question, Liam, everything Matthew said, I'm in the same opinion of. To be honest with you, I think that Klopp and Liverpool felt the pressure for the first time in 2 years from the fan base to do something, and I think they felt like if they didn't do something, they would lose not support, but it was at the point not from my point of view. I don't know about Matthew's, but again, if you go off the basis of social media and how everyone's talking, it was at the point where if they didn't and we continued to slide down the table, he would have been in trouble. And I think they felt the pressure, and then B, fucking hell, I've lost myself here. And two, panicking like fucking Jurgen Klopp. Two, I think that they also didn't have a choice. I think they needed bodies. I think they had to work out a way how to get Fabinho or Henderson playing in the middle. Obviously, Henderson then got hurt. I think they had to figure out a way. I don't think they could continue with it, and they've just had to do what they had to do. But everything Matthew said spot on about Kabak and Davies. Jambo, we are extremely tight for time here. You've got one fucking question. Make it a good one.
Well, my one's about Firmino.
Okay.
For me, he's in a bit of a goal drought, right?
Yeah.
How he has been. Just want to get your thoughts really on him and how much time you would give him. Seeing how long has he been at Liverpool for now?
A while. He's been there since Rodgers has
right?
been there.
For a while. So yeah. I would assume you'd give him a little bit more time before you kind of start turning on him. And if he doesn't, what's he doing wrong?
Mm.
Go on, Matthew.
Yeah. So, wait, you said Firmino, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, even as Josh, I'm Firmino's. Honestly, I'm his biggest fan, man. I could watch him play football for days. I think he's so good. I've never seen someone play in that role and play with their back to. I used to hate playing with my back to goal. I hated it. I was so shit at it. But just the way that he plays with his back to goal, I think there's not many better strikers out there actually playing with his back to goal. But I just think that, and this just happens at football clubs, especially when you're successful. You just need to keep evolving, and I think Firmino in that role and possibly getting rid is one of the many big reasons that we need to evolve, and I think we will. And I just think we do need to bring someone in that will be a goal scorer and evolve that way. And I think it sounds harsh, right? Because he's done so well and stuff, but I just think that's the area mainly that we need to evolve and slightly adapt. Because I think as you know, we won the title, Champions League and all that, you need to keep evolving and adapting. I think what's happened to us, that we haven't evolved and adapt, and we've just kind of ran out of that energy. And I think just bringing fresh legs in there will totally switch it up.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
yeah, I think sorry to chime in quickly. I know you guys are the experts, but I think there's two things. Like, one thing is, as you said, he doesn't have anyone else to really challenge him for that position, so he's maybe a bit comfortable. If he doesn't score week in, week out, then he knows he's still playing next week. You know what I mean? And the second thing as well is, I mean, Salah's still scoring, but Mane's not. I don't know what Mane seems to be went a bit off the ball, a bit off form. So like before, like his lack of goals was justified because he was doing so many other things, and Salah and Mane were both chipping in the goals anyway. So you guys were still scoring, whereas Salah still is, but Mane's not. So I think that's reflecting a bit on now. Maybe fans and pundits whatever are like, well, Mane's not scoring, so Firmino, you need to step up now because we can't just rely on Salah.
Yeah,
100%.
I think just to finish off very quickly, so Jamo can get away. I think that what Matthew said about evolving is probably right. I'm not saying that we should sell him. I still think you could keep him and potentially even give him some sort of other role somewhere in the team. But it's quite clear when you play Jota and then you have three very direct forwards running him behind or trying to get him behind teams because they're sitting so deep against us now. It's a different mentality. That three looks like it is more the future than it was the other three, if that makes sense. That to me, it's like, oh, this feels like it suits us better with how teams are playing against us now compared to what it was a year ago, 2 years ago. And I think that, unfortunately, it looks like Firmino might be the one that gets the kind of chop out the three. But yeah, James, to answer your question, love him to death. Think we need to evolve, and he may be someone that gets less time or maybe gets moved on to evolve. He might be one of those players. Yeah, unfortunately.